All right, welcome to the Make the Grade with Wellness Policy Food and Beverage Marketing webinar. So the presenters for today's webinar are me, I'm Bianca Smith, and I'm the Teen Nutrition Grant Coordinator for Washington State through OSPI Child Nutrition Services.
And I'm Lisa Rockos. I'm the Program Supervisor for the Healthiest Next Generation, and I work at OSPI in the Student Support Division.
So just a few reminders for today's webinar. This webinar is being recorded, so please keep yourself muted throughout the webinar so that we don't have any background noise while we're presenting. And you can do that by clicking the icon shown to the right, which will mute you if there's a slash through the microphone. So also, if you have questions throughout today's webinar, please type your questions into the chat box. You can see the chat box icon to the right there. And please feel free to ask questions at any time.
Well, let's get started. What does the final rule say on food and beverage marketing? Allow marketing and advertising of only those foods and beverages that meet the Smart Snacks and School Nutrition Standards. So what exactly is food and beverage marketing? Marketing is the advertising or other promotions in schools. It includes oral, written, or graphic statements. The USDA specifically addresses what food and beverage marketing is in the final rule for the purpose of promoting the sale of a food or beverage product made by a producer, manufacturer, seller, or any other entity with a commercial interest in the product. So where do we see food and beverage marketing on school campuses? Here are a few examples. We have vending machines, cafeteria coolers, pizza warmers, outdoor kiosks, and school safety signage. There are also advertisements on the side of school buses or posters promoting fundraising programs. Some other examples not included here are menu boards, coolers, trash cans, and other food service equipment, as well as cups for using for beverages. A simple way to remember what this new food and beverage marketing component means is if you can't sell it, you can't market it. So if schools cannot sell the food or beverage because it does not meet Smart Snacks nutrition standards, then schools cannot market it. This is a great way to remember what the final rule means for food and beverage marketing. What's not included? These standards do not apply to marketing that occurs at events outside of school hours, such as after-school sporting or any other events, including fundraisers. However, states or local school districts may choose to extend the standards to these events or times of day as well. So that is something to keep in mind and to be aware of what your state or local policy says. This rule does not establish limits on personal expression, opinion, or products. For example, this would not apply to clothing or personal items used by students, staff, or the packaging of products brought from home for personal consumption. This rule does not apply to materials used for educational purposes, such as soda advertisements, as a media education tool, or a health or nutrition education curriculum. And lastly, schools are not required to allow food and beverage marketing. However, if you do choose to allow it, it must be limited to only items that meet the Smart Snacks nutrition standards.
Who is affected by this food and beverage marketing policy? So please just take a moment to think to yourself about which people in your schools might be affected and list them in the chat box. So the final rule on food and beverage marketing impacts everyone in your schools. It's the administrators, PE teachers, school nurse, guidance, classroom teachers, food service staff, parents, students, community members, and business partners. It's important that everyone in your schools are aware of the food and beverage marketing rule and how they play a role. So how can each of these different individuals help with food and beverage marketing? So take a moment to think to yourself of how each of these groups can help implement food and beverage marketing. And if you'd like, you can type your response into the chat box.
Now let's move into celebrations and rewards. This is a new component that needs to be included in local wellness policies. This is what it states: standards for all food and beverage provided, but not sold to students during the school day.
So what's included in foods or beverages provided or served to students? Note that this is different than foods that are sold to students. We're talking about foods that are provided or served to students. So this includes classroom parties such as birthdays, holidays, or other special occasions. Also classroom snacks brought in by parents, teachers, or other students, or other foods used as a reward or incentive for good behavior, performance, or achievement. So before we can talk about food and beverages used for celebrations and rewards, it's important for us to think about how this applies to us. So when do you celebrate? How do you celebrate? Take a moment to think about how you celebrate and share your response in the chat box. So you might have noticed that a lot of the ways you might celebrate involve food. So this is true for many of us. Many of us use food as a form of celebration or reward. So food is something we all hold near and dear to our hearts. Traditions and the way that we are raised with these traditions create an emotional tie to food for all of us. This is something to keep in mind as we encourage changing those traditions to healthier alternatives. When we ask students, families, or staff to change the way that they celebrate, it can be an emotional issue because we're asking them to change a tradition. We've seen changes in the cafeteria over the past couple of years and are seeing healthy foods and beverages in the lunch line. In 2014, the USDA released the Smart Snacks in School Nutrition Standards for all foods and beverages sold in schools, which includes vending machines, a la carte lines, school stores, snack carts, and fundraising. We have seen healthier foods and beverages on school campuses nationwide. When we promote healthy options during meal or snack times while allowing foods high in calories, fat, sugar, and sodium at celebrations or for rewards, we send youth conflicting messages. Let's pause for a moment and think about this statement, which is a common question that comes up when we talk about changing celebration foods. It's just one cupcake. Is it that big of a deal? This may come up from staff or parents regarding a child's birthday or changing staff birthday celebrations. But let's look more closely. If the average class size is 20, or if you have 20 staff members, that's one cupcake times 20, and that becomes a lot more than just one cupcake. And that's just for birthdays and may not include holiday or program-wide celebrations. So it's important for us to consider that when we hear it's just one cupcake. One cupcake, depending on size and ingredients, can contain anywhere from 350 to 500 calories per cupcake. That would amount to an extra 7,000 to 10,000 calories per school year. So it's important to think about the frequency of celebrations and what may be included in those celebrations. Evolving policies and standards around foods and beverages allowed in schools and out-of-school time programs creates the opportunity for starting new traditions to celebrate special days throughout the school year or during out-of-school time. So let's think about a holiday celebration that we might see going on in a school. And foods and beverage we may see on those kids' plates during those celebrations. So I have an example of a celebration that was shared by a colleague that their child was involved with at school. So at this particular celebration, their child received a Sprite, a cupcake, 3 mini candy bars, 3 Jolly Ranchers, and 1 bag of hot Cheetos. So think about each of these items. How many grams of sugar do you think is in this? Take a moment and write your guess in the chat box. As it turns out, this example of goodies contains 850 calories, 92 grams of sugar, and 3 tablespoons of fat. 92 grams of sugar is about 23 teaspoons of sugar. This is a picture of what that much sugar looks like to the right. The plastic cup shown here contains 23 teaspoons of sugar. And that's one celebration.
So what can you do? Policy includes language in your district, school, or program wellness policy regarding celebrations. Use language from the Alliance Model Policy to save yourself time and not reinvent the wheel. This is a unique opportunity this school year that all districts are required to revise their local wellness policy. Now is the time to advise your school board to include language on celebrations and non-food rewards now. Promote the policy change on the school's website, in newsletters, on bulletin boards, during wellness fairs, or on social media. Parents, provide letters to parents explaining the policy around celebrations and why it is being implemented. Explain that only foods and beverages that meet the USDA Smart Snacks in School Nutrition Standards or non-food celebrations will be allowed and only non-food rewards. Provide parents with examples, and don't forget to explain the policy to students and staff. Don't be afraid to over-communicate any new changes at staff meetings, parent open house. Any opportunity to remind folks of the policy is a wise idea. So we're going to do a poll. Which of the following do you think is the biggest barrier to incorporating healthier rewards and celebrations in your schools? A, parents want to bring cupcakes, other treats to school for their child's birthday parties, class celebrations. B, teachers are accustomed to using candy and other foods as an easy and inexpensive reward in the classroom. C, events like donuts with dads, pizza parties, and other food celebrations are very common in my schools. Or D, other. Please type into the chat box.
Or you can select via the poll that you should see on your screen right now. And if not, just type it into the chat box. All right. I know we don't have many participants on the live webinar today, but if you are participating, we'd love to hear what you have to say. Go ahead and close the poll. All right.
So, excuse me. So let's explore some examples of non-food ideas that can be used for celebrations or rewards. Games or crafts. Ask parents to bring supplies for a game or craft project instead of food. Dance parties. Allow the birthday child to choose the music and have a dance party in class. To celebrate a class accomplishment, allow extra playtime or recess time. At high school or middle school, allow extra free time or time in the gymnasium. Have a special show and tell as a celebration. Have a themed scavenger hunt around the school. Make it an event. Allow the child to wear a special sash and crown or carry a special item. For older grades, recognize the student on intercom announcements or in newsletters or social media. For class celebrations, allow the child being celebrated to choose special parts of the activity, such as music, physical activity, or book to be read. A policy that specifies only healthier foods and beverages will be allowed at celebrations sets the expectation from the beginning and allows everyone to be on the same page. As mentioned previously, while the new USDA Smart Snacks guidelines only apply to foods sold, we recommend using those as a guide for celebrations and providing examples to parents. Also, it's important to distinguish that for celebrations, it's okay to offer healthier foods and beverages, such as those that meet Smart Snacks. But when it comes to foods as rewards, we want to support non-food rewards and incentives. Offering any foods, even healthy foods, as a reward can create an unhealthy relationship and habit with food. The Alliance Model policy includes language to address non-food rewards. Let's look at some examples of healthier foods and beverages. Water, 100% juice, or low-fat or non-fat milk are good beverage options. Fruit smoothies made with frozen fruit with no added sugar and fat-free or low-fat yogurt. Fresh fruits or vegetables, trays, salads, or kebabs. Canned or frozen fruit and water, 100% juice, or light syrup or dried fruit with no added sugar are also great options. Try fat-free or low-fat yogurt as a dip. Yogurt parfaits, fat-free or low-fat yogurt. Fruit and whole grain cereal or granola as topping. Trail mix made of nuts or seeds and dried fruit with no added sugar. Roll-ups on whole grain tortillas filled with lean protein such as ham or turkey, low-fat cheese, hummus, nut, or seed butter and jelly or vegetables. Always remember to take into consideration any children in the class or school with food allergies and ensure proper steps are taken with foods brought in. Here are a few simple party ideas that are healthy and low cost. Fruit-infused water, fruit kebabs that students can make themselves, and whole grain roll-ups.
We have seen a lot of schools, student, and parent organizations partner with their school nutrition program for cooperative purchasing, which allows for greater access to Smart Snacks compliant products by ordering through school nutrition services. The school nutrition program can sell the Smart Snack compliant foods to a student or parent organization. The organization can then sell the item with a small markup and then keep the revenue they earn. The organization, such as a student government, can return any products they don't sell and pay the school nutrition program for the product that they do sell. We have seen a lot of success with schools using this model. It's important to provide parents with examples to go along with the policy to help them change their mindset around traditional celebrations. If your policy only allows healthy snacks and beverages, provide them with some examples of healthy foods and beverages. If your policy only allows non-food celebrations, provide some examples of those as well. At www.healthiergeneration.org, you can find examples of these. Encourage students and parents to think outside of the box and encourage creativity. Find easy celebration ideas on social media sites such as Pinterest. The Alliance has a celebration Pinterest board that parents can check out to get some great ideas. Encourage parents and staff to share ideas. Perhaps the PTO can keep a running list of easy creative celebration ideas. Use seasonal themes for celebration. For example, in October, try different flavors of roasted pumpkin seeds. In November, have apple cider and turkey roll-ups. And in February, use cookie cutters to create heart-shaped sandwiches or fruit shapes. Get youth involved with creating the healthier snacks and make that part of the celebration time. This not only ensures they are getting healthier options, it also increases the chances that they will be more excited about the celebration because they're getting the chance to create it themselves. Students can create smoothies in Ziploc bags with frozen fruit and fat-free yogurt, or they can assemble yogurt parfaits or trail mix, or they can fill their roll-ups with veggie sticks. Take example lists and create a menu with fun graphics that is sent home with students and allows parents and students to choose together what healthy items they will bring for a celebration. Even better, let the students in your class put the menu together. Talk to your food service team to decide if you want to offer snack options for teachers or parents to purchase. Offer surveys for students and staff. Surveys are important to get input and see what folks would like to offer at healthy celebrations. Make several healthy suggestions available as survey choices. Give examples. You don't want to ask, would you like a cupcake or a carrot stick? Provide several acceptable or healthy choices to pick from. That way people can still provide input, but any of their selections will be good choices for a healthy celebration. Promote healthier celebrations by over-communicating these new changes. Share on newsletters, bulletin boards, staff memos, meetings, or emails. Remind folks why you are doing this, to set a good example as a role model for the youth that you serve. One of the most important steps is to share the great work that you are doing. When someone does something well, like hosting a healthy celebration, sharing a new recipe, giving them acknowledgement for supporting this new practice. Announce their accomplishments during a staff meeting. Thank them in an email. Recognize them on a bulletin board or on your Facebook page. Say that thanks for helping us with creating healthier celebrations.
So let's take a look at some resources and tools that you can use for a healthier school environment. Visit the website on the screen, www.healthiergeneration.org, for resources. When you access the web page, click on the Resources button to view available resources to support healthy eating and physical activity. Here is another resource for healthy potluck signups, again at www.healthiergeneration.org.
So let's take a minute and think back to the past school year or even the past few school years. Think of all of the accomplishments related to health and wellness at your school that you have achieved. After today's webinar, we want you to make a list of all of these accomplishments you have made, everything you can possibly think of. Take this list and pin it somewhere. Tape it to your monitor or stick it on your desk. Maybe put it on your visor in your car. Somewhere you will see this daily. Look back at this to give yourself recognition for all that you've achieved. It's important for us to remind ourselves regularly about all we have accomplished so that as we move forward, we can remember the great value in the work that we do. So this is an important message to remember as you move forward with your local wellness policy development and implementation. Change takes time, so think big and start small. If you completed the 2-hour in-person Make the Grade with Wellness Policy session at Spring Workshops, please make sure that you complete this evaluation survey. Your completion of this survey is very important and will help us further develop this training for future purposes. So we will send this link out to you for participating in this webinar, so please complete the survey as soon as you possibly can. So now we're going to take a minute to answer some of your questions. And we're having some issues viewing both the slides and the chat box at the same time. So if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself. So you click the microphone so that there is no longer a slash in the microphone. And feel free to speak to ask your questions. Okay, well, we don't seem to have any questions at this time. However, if you have questions after today's webinar, please feel free to contact me or Lisa at OSPI if you have any questions. Thank you all for participating in today's webinar, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.